We see a woman wake up in a hotel room, naked and alone. Money on the side table and her alarm going off, she sits up and leaves. Wandering the streets alone in the rain and the cold, wearing muted colours of tan and grey, this woman blends into the background. A silent figure in a world that passes by around her. We hear the murmurs of those out on the town, laughing and enjoying their nights, as she remains a silent figure, walking alone. Briefly, a pink dress catches her eye, the eventual attire that's donned by the yokai she's destined to become, a foreshadowing of awaiting tragedy. As she walks up to her apartment door, we see the mundanity of the world that she exists in. She wears a somber expression, hesitating to unlock the door. But what life could she have? What misery must she live in to be so afraid to face what lies behind this boundary? She musters her courage and opens it, and warm light cuts through the damp and the grey as she's met by this tiny person, a little girl. She looks down at the face of her daughter. Her expression is bright and loving, with a twinkle in her eye that spreads to her mother's face too, as she smiles. She's home. The montage we see gives us insight into the life of this woman and the two faces that she wears to two oh so different worlds. In the normal world, she's nobody. Blink and you'll miss her as she works tirelessly across multiple jobs, a faceless what's-her-name, quietly providing labour, signified further by her literal facelessness in these scenes. But in her home, in this teeny tiny room, she's the most important woman in existence. She's a teacher, she's a cook, and she's a provider. She's a mother. Everything that she does to support her daughter, and she does so much. This woman who will become Acro-Silky is driven by love, and this love is manifested in the deepest of sacrifices. She sacrifices her time, her energy, and even her dignity itself to provide the small world that she's carved out with her child. There is a banal cruelty to life that is often left unspoken. Ignorance for those around us, ignorance for those who we would rather not see or hear, because noticing them means acknowledging their suffering. The world chews us up and spits us out, and so we see this single mother, one of the most vulnerable groups of people, being worked to the bone for the simplest of lives. A small space to live and love with her daughter. This kind of pain is so central to the series. Those on the fringe of society are made to suffer silently. People have a tendency to ignore and rationalize the pain of others because it makes their lives easier to live. But these people have lives themselves, and their hurt is as valid as anyone's. Understanding outcasts is so central to Dandadan, after all. Despite all of this gnawing away at her, she shoulders the burdens of the world, stands in as a protector to give her daughter as normal a life as possible. They might not have much, but they have each other. The simplicity of her daughter's joy is so honest and so raw versus the complexity of an uncaring society governed by money, appetite, and ignorance. The small, private, insular world that exists between two people who love each other is important to Dandadan. Just look at Momo and Okurun's relationship and how it flourishes when it's just the two of them. But this can't exist. We don't live in a vacuum, and the waves of reality will continue to crash against the walls of our hidden havens until they're eroded away completely. As any mother would, she wants to give her daughter more, and so she buys her a dress, the one that she saw, using essential money to do it. The contrasting warm glow of this inner refuge versus the cold lights of the world that surrounds it provides us with a definition between what this woman values against what threatens it, the weight of existence. The soft radiance of their private life characterizes the scenes between her and her daughter, but this can't last. Day turns to night as the shadows slowly creep in as the outside world slowly infiltrates their sanctuary. the homely luminescence of their internal shelter is diminished, lit only by candlelight now, flickering as their timer runs low. The candles are blown out, and only the distant stars provide comfort by twinkling illumination. Perhaps out there, somewhere, a better world does exist. Because this one is unjust. Savage. The gentle, whimsical music ends, and the young girl screams and cries, watching her mother being assaulted. The sounds of her brutal beating are stark and heartbreaking as she's thrown into glass which cuts her and impales her. These men are looking for money, but in lieu of that are ready to take something more important. Her daughter. Love is the most powerful force that exists. It can push a mother to grind herself into dust for the sake of her child. That single source of love, that fragile beacon of hope, becomes a fuel that powers every waking moment. It can be someone's salvation. It can change their very lives to force them to become someone that they were always meant to be, all for the person that they love. But love can be damnation, as such devotion has a darker side. Losing that most important person is enough to turn someone into a beast, into a monster. Wounded and broken, she still fights, on hands and knees like a wild animal, feral and desperate. Her body moves purely on instinct, her eyes locked on one thing, protecting her daughter at all costs. She doesn't think, she just acts, which is who she is, a protector, a warrior, a mother. Her life has been defined by surrendering herself to protect her daughter, doing every possible thing in service of this singular mission, but it's never enough. And it's not enough now. They take her daughter and leave her battered and bruised. Despite being close to death, she refuses to surrender. She rips through the streets and we hear her panicked, frenzied breaths, more animal than person, purely driven by instinct. She has nothing else that matters to lose, so she will keep on pushing. But the gut-wrenching truth is that they're gone. Her sorrow, her desperation, the world-ending pain of it, we feel it too. But even this is a mere microcosm of her pain. Gleaming starlight, the faraway promise of a better world, likes the rain-soaked scene, as we see her dancing as she did with her daughter. This is all she has left now, and this final ballet atop a sopping building is as close as she can get to reclaiming that now. She dreams of her daughter telling her that she loves her as she throws herself from the rooftop, succumbing to the cruelty of this awful world. The story of Acro-Silky is disturbing, not just because of what happened, but because of what it all meant. Every moment, every action that this dedicated, fervent, powerful woman took to support her daughter should be heartwarming. She should be proud to have done so much with so little support, but she isn't. She can't be. Because how it all ended recontextualized her struggles through this lens of failure. Every moment of joy that she brought to her daughter is inverted 1,000-fold because she couldn't make it last. The power of love is incalculable, and the pain of failing love, of not being or doing enough to sustain the one person that you love more than anything, is unbearable. The cruel irony of her existential punishment is that she has to linger in the world as a ghost, one that is unseen in limbo as she was in life. As humans, we think ourselves governed by logic and reason, but it's emotion that makes up the core of our souls. Shown here as Acro-Silky loses her memories, until all that's left is the emotional black hole within her, of lingering lost love that longs to be made whole. So when Ida, a girl without a mother, mistakes this spirit, a mother without a daughter, as her mother, she immediately attaches her unresolved maternal instincts onto Ida. Silky needs something to love. These feelings have built up over the years and she must channel them into someone, and it turns her into a monster. Fueled by the same animalistic frenzy that drove her to fight, but now she doesn't even remember why. Eventually, she reworks her memories. She starts to genuinely believe that Ida was her daughter and that she will follow her until one day she can connect. One day she can be seen. And love can be selfish. Losing that love so central to her being has led her to where we are now, where she tried to consume Ida to keep them together as one flesh. But the true, sacrificial love that Acro-Silky harnessed in life shines through, and she gives up her aura to Ida and allows her to live. An extension of the sacrifices that she made day in and day out for her daughter, and now she makes the ultimate sacrifice: to die, so that Ida may live. This act of love, mirrored across 2 lifetimes, allows her to come to her senses and remember who she truly is in her dying moments. But remembering this love means remembering her failure. She wanted to give her daughter everything, but ultimately could only give her the bare minimum, and in her eyes she failed even at that. As Acro-Silky begins to break away, destined to be forgotten in the abyssal nothing that spirits go to when they die with regret in their hearts. Her entire existence is steeped in loss, pain, and regret. Even her dress is a copy of the dress that her daughter wore, an echo of lost love, but also a cruel, self-inflicted brand of her failure. Momo begs Turbo Granny to do something, but this is up to Acro-Silky. She has to make peace with her life, and nobody can do that for her. But how could she? All she can do in these final moments is contemplate what a monster of a mother she was. She couldn't give her daughter more, she couldn't be with her more, and she couldn't have been more. She blames herself for all the harm that befell her child. She believes that she could have had a good life if she hadn't been born cursed by a worthless failure of a mother. Ida looks upon her as she starts to break apart. This pitiful creature that lived a life of pain only to die, steeped in regret, with all of that pain and suffering being meaningless as it's destined to be forgotten by all. And this is where we see the heart of Ida. She acts like Miss Perfect and lets people hear what they want to hear, but that's the thing. She does it partially because people need that. It helps keep them going, even if it is a performance. Ida runs to Acro-Silky and holds her, hugs her, tells her as her daughter that it meant something in the end, that everything she did meant something, and that it made her happy. Acro-Silky stops, remembers her daughter, and holds Ida in her arms. The yokai finds her soul and looks off to the stars as she did in life, the distant comfort of a better place, as Ida wishes that she and her daughter could travel there, to somewhere better, to a kinder world. Like the stars litter the night sky, Acro-Silky breaks apart, scattering into dust, drifting away, as Ida swears that she'll never forget. After so long, she finally sees her. She will remember her. Always.